me.
Lola's mom used to say going to church would make her good. But Lola thinks people need reasons to be good. So, one day, she puts on makeup, takes some stuff, and works as a dancer in a club. Her mom, Mona, is passed out with her boyfriend, Trick, when she gets home. Lola hides her money, then sleeps next to her brother, Arlo. In the morning, she wakes him up with love and offers to make breakfast. But Trick asks for some too, which annoys Lola. She serves only Arlo and promises to take him swimming. Later on a drive with her friend. At work, Lola's a clerk at a grocery store with Babina. Malachi, her boyfriend, hangs around and offers to take leftover change from customers. He later gives Lola some stuff but wants her to say she loves him first, which she does. While Mona homeschools Arlo, she seems annoyed by his slow progress. She leaves him to go out, asking him to buy her cigarettes. Arlo heads to the store with their dog while Lola hides in the bathroom, reading a magazine. She finds an ad for an art school and takes it, hoping to enroll her brother. Malachi shows up to do drugs with his girlfriend. After work, Lola keeps her promise and takes Arlo swimming. During the days, she spends time with friends and her boyfriend, but at night she dances at the club for money. One night, Mona catches Lola getting ready for bed at 3 a.m. She questions where Lola goes at night, warning her about divine observation. Mona thinks Lola's strayed from church and asks her not to influence Arlo negatively. Lola insists she's not harming Arlo, which angers Mona. She wishes Lola's absent father took her with him. The next day, Lola steals from the store where she works. Meanwhile, her mother dresses up and listens to religious talks on the radio. She goes to a Bible study, bringing snacks. Nancy, one of the attendees, asks about her kids and invites Arlo for a sleepover. But Mona says he's busy with school. She argues that homeschooling is better because public schools focus too much on science. Nancy disagrees, saying her son wouldn't be good at baseball if he was homeschooled. Mona doesn't like Nancy's boys will be boys attitude. Nancy mentions her family will be at the study and asks if Mona's boyfriend will join. Mona says Trick's busy and Nancy seems doubtful. That night, Arlo asks Lola to do his makeup like hers. Lola agrees and bonds with him. Mona finds them and scolds Arlo for wearing makeup, blaming Lola and wiping it off with a towel. Arlo gets scared and runs away. Lola scolds her mother for frightening her brother, but Mona argues that Lola's leading him astray. Later, Lola reassures Arlo that he didn't do anything wrong and promises that God still loves him, claiming she talks to him. She helps Arlo fall asleep, promising they'll leave their mother's home soon. After he falls asleep, Lola heads to work at the club, feeling sad. Eager to move out with her brother faster, Lola asks her co-worker, Dee how to make more money. Dee suggests taking clients to private rooms, which Lola hasn't tried before. The thought frightens Lola, but Dee reassures her that if she follows the client's wishes, she'll earn money. With great reluctance, Lola agrees to serve a customer in a private room. She obeys his instructions and even removes her blouse. Luckily, things don't escalate too much. She accepts his payment and leaves. However, Lola still feels uneasy about the experience, so she takes some medicine to calm down in the dressing room before returning to the stage to dance. On another day, Lola sits with Malachi outside the grocery store, smoking quietly. He worries they might get caught by the manager, but Lola brushes off his concern. Malachi reminds her they still need money for Arlo's art school. This motivates Lola to ask for stimulants to keep her going, which Malachi readily provides. She mentions the school is far away, dampening Malachi's spirits as they'll be apart. However, he promises to visit her as often as possible. Returning home, Lola hears Mona hitting Arlo for his interests. She defends her brother fiercely, threatening her mother if she harms him again. Hearing this, Babina offers them a place to stay the next day. Malachi also shows support by buying food for Arlo. That night, they enjoy their time together. Malachi bonds with Babina's mother, Pearl, who's delighted to have Arlo around. Meanwhile, Malachi tries to comfort Lola, but her lack of response makes him feel guilty. She reminds him of his past infidelity, which prompts him to leave, avoiding an argument. The next morning, Babina and Lola head to work, while Pearl and Arlo work on a jigsaw puzzle at home. During work, Lola steals again, and although Babina notices, she only cautions her friend to be careful. However, Lola's getting fired when another staff member reports her. In the afternoon, Arlo cooks lunch for himself and Pearl, impressing her. He mentions Lola taught him to cook and describes her as his best friend. Later, Mona calls Pearl, asking her to tell her children to come home, claiming their fight was a misunderstanding. After work, Babina drives Lola home, but Lola remains silent, upset about getting fired because of her friend. At home, they find Malachi waiting for Lola, but she refuses to speak to him. He pleads for reconciliation, insisting they're good together, even without physical intimacy. However, Lola believes Malachi only values physical intimacy, refusing to share her first experience with someone who'd do the same with anyone. Malachi argues she dances for money but won't be intimate with him. Lola clarifies she only dances on stage, and Malachi promises not to be disloyal again. Unconvinced, Lola heads inside to prepare for her night shift. At the club, Dee warns Lola that her mother is there to see her. Reluctantly, Lola goes to meet Mona. Her mother accuses her of taking her son and claims Lola isn't capable of raising him. Without giving Lola a chance to respond, Mona walks away. Lola is troubled by her words, so she asks Dee to cover for her, while she goes home early to look after Arlo. The next morning, Arlo asks Lola to fetch their family dog because he misses him. Lola sneaks back home and heads to her room to gather some things, but Trick finds her and corners her. He takes advantage of her, leaving Lola in tears at her terrible first experience. She rushes back to Babina's house and hides in the closet, feeling broken. After calming down, she wakes up her brother and tells him she picked up their dog. The next evening, Lola meets Malachi to get some medication, but he refuses to give her any. Desperate, she offers to sleep with him in exchange, but he rejects her proposition. Reluctantly, he gives her the medication, but ends their relationship before walking away. Lola uses the medication to get through her shift at the club, but she struggles as her life begins to unravel. The next morning, Lola wakes up to find her brother putting stickers on her to cheer her up. He says he's getting her ready because it's his guardian angel's birthday. Babina overhears and asks how they plan to celebrate. Arlo suggests waffles, so they have breakfast together at the diner. While they eat, Lola uses a payphone outside to schedule a meeting for Arlo at the school. Later that afternoon, Lola heads to work at the club, unaware that her mother has gone to Babina's house to take Arlo back while she's away. Mona even shaves Arlo's head at home, insisting he be a better son to her. When Arlo sees himself in the mirror, he becomes overwhelmed and runs away, eventually getting hit by a car. Unaware of this, Lola takes a customer to a private room, pushing aside her reservations about her body after her experience with Trick. She tells herself it's for her brother's future. Afterward, she receives a call revealing the tragic news. Lola rushes to the hospital, stunned by her brother's fate. When Mona arrives, she blames Lola for Arlo's death, too overwhelmed with guilt to argue. After Trick takes Mona away, Lola breaks down beside her brother's body. Unable to cope, she hurriedly takes medication when she returns to Babina's home, but it doesn't ease her pain. In the morning, Babina tries to comfort Lola, but Lola notices that Malachi hasn't checked in on her yet. Sympathizing, Babina promises to call him. Malachi soon visits, but Lola only wants substances from him. He warns against it, saying it's harming her. Instead, he wants to support her through her grief. However, Lola refuses to grieve and tells him to leave. She screams, but Malachi holds her until she breaks down in tears. They end up spending the night together, but only for Malachi's sake to ensure she's okay. Eventually, Lola falls ill and discovers she's pregnant. Horrified, as only one man could be the father, she confides in Babina, who promises to help. Lola insists on leaving town before the baby comes. Babina asks her to promise to stay clean for the baby's sake, and Lola hesitantly agrees. Days later, Malachi takes Lola to a support group, fulfilling her promise to Babina. As months pass, Lola's relationship with Malachi strengthens as he supports her through pregnancy. Babina helps prepare her for childbirth, though she's saddened by Lola's plan to leave town. Lola now works as a waitress at the club, benefiting from more respectful treatment from customers due to her condition. Dee also admires Lola for deciding to carry her child, mentioning that she had a similar opportunity but couldn't go through with it. To help make ends meet, Babina helps Lola get her job back at the grocery store, bringing a glimmer of hope into her life. Lola still wonders about her mother, so one day, she asks Babina if she's seen Mona lately. Babina mentions seeing Mona at church, making Lola wonder if her mother prays for her. 6 months into her pregnancy, the counselor at her support group encourages Lola to start sharing during their sessions. Lola feels hesitant but finds solace in the counselor's empathy, as she had similar feelings in her early months of pregnancy. She considers opening up the next day, but her thoughts are interrupted when Mona visits the store. It's the first time her mother has seen her pregnant, and she mocks Lola. assuming she doesn't know who the father is. Appalled by her mother's words, Lola calls her a horrible person. Mona brushes off her daughter's reaction, prompting Lola to reveal that Trick is the father. This infuriates Mona, who is even more enraged by the fact that she's not the one carrying Trick's child. Lola can't believe her mother doesn't care about what her boyfriend did to her, so she tells Mona that she'll ensure her child feels loved. Mona, with a spiteful smile, claims she made the same promise when she was pregnant with Lola, and sarcastically wishes her good luck before leaving. After Mona leaves, Babina comforts Lola, who decides she never wants to see her mother again. During her shift at the club, Didi and the other dancers offer to share their tips with Lola, which she greatly appreciates. Babina then wonders what Lola will name her daughter, but Lola hasn't decided yet. Didi shares that she wants to name her daughter Claudia and assures Lola that she'll get through this. Lola agrees, recognizing the importance of having someone by her side. In the final support group session, Lola opens up to her companions. She reveals that she never felt like she had a mother and promises not to make the same mistake as Mona did to her. Tearfully, she says goodbye to Maliki and Babina as she prepares to leave town. Lola acknowledges that she couldn't have survived without her best friend and thanks her for everything. As she leaves the past behind, Lola assures herself that no one is born helpless or troublesome. She acknowledges that she has become who she is because of both the friends who helped her and the people who hurt her. However, she realizes it's up to her, how she carries both happiness and hardships throughout her life. Soon, she lovingly watches her daughter riding a merry-go-round with Malishi by their side. With a new life they're enjoying together, Lola understands that she deserves a second chance in life, and she's determined to provide her daughter with a better life than she had growing up.